So I'm Paul Watson and I direct the National Innovation Centre for Data. I'm also a Professor of Computer Science at Newcastle University. We've done 100 projects with industry and the public sector over the last 5 years. So based on that, what people see as innovation is that they're drowning in data. They get data from all of their internal processes, they can get external data. If they work in manufacturing, all of their tools and all the machines that they have are generating data. And what they want to know is how can they use that in order to transform their organization? And that requires innovation. And that might be just that they want to get more insights into how to make better decisions, or it might be that they want to improve their productivity by improving their existing products and services, or it could be that they want to launch new data-driven products and services. But that requires innovation. It requires innovation in thinking about what can they do with the data, and it requires them to have the ability to use new tools and techniques such as machine learning and advanced statistics. We're not a commercial organisation, so we were set up by the government, so we're the UK's National Innovation Centre for Data. And the reason they set it up was because they were being approached by lots of organisations, not just large organisations, but often SMEs, who were struggling with this problem that they had the data, but they couldn't innovate through it. So they set us up in 2017 when we agreed a business case with them, and we've been running since 2019. And the main thing that we do is we work with companies who have data but don't have the data science skills. And rather than be a consultancy where a company would throw a problem to us and we would solve it and throw back the result, what we do, which we think is unique, is that we work with people from that organization who have some sorts of skills. So it could be they've got programming skills. It could be that they're the people who run the database at the heart of the organization. It might even be for SMEs, the one person who runs the Excel spreadsheet that the whole of the organization is based around. And by doing a project with them, then skills are transferred into that organization. So the idea is that people in that organization should then be able to identify and realize opportunities without being entirely dependent on us. So our main program is a subsidized program. So we got money from the government to fund a new innovation building, the Catalyst that we're sitting in at the moment. But Newcastle University funds subsidized programs with industry. So the industry pays roughly half of what they would pay if they went to a commercial organization. And that was a stipulation of the government because they wanted us to work with companies who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford to take on data science skills. So we've done some analysis of the sectors across which we work, across these 100 projects, and also the sizes of companies. Roughly half the companies are SMEs. The other half are larger organizations, anything from medium-sized organizations right up to multinationals. But in terms of sectors, it's almost every sector that is represented. Now, there are some sectors that are harder to reach than others, but we work across finance, banking, manufacturing, legals, you name it, we've done a project with them. So at the heart of the National Innovation Centre for Data, we have a team of expert data scientists. Most of them have PhDs. On average, they've got 4 to 5 years experience of working with companies. And so what we do is we run events and activities, conference masterclasses to raise awareness of what the potential is for data science and AI to transform organizations. And so then companies come to us because they see that, oh, perhaps we could work with the National Innovation Centre for Data and get more insights in our organization, improve productivity, or launch new data-driven products and services. Well, actually, what we find is in the main, when we work with a company, they're bringing their domain expertise to us, and we're bringing our data science and AI expertise. And we have a process that we go through to try and facilitate innovation. And the first thing that we do is to work out what the business opportunity or the business challenge is. So we don't start from a technical problem. We don't if somebody comes to us and says, here's some data, and we want you to use machine learning in order to build a model for this, we will always start with that point and go back to, well, what's the problem that you're trying to solve, and why do you think that will transform your organization? And so it's this discussion which then allows us then to shape a data science AI project which can then deliver against that business challenge. So we find that it's a very structured process. We use something based on the Osterwalder business canvas model that many tech companies use in order to do this. We find that new ideas come out of this. If we, between the two organizations, ourselves and the company that we're working with, if we need some other specialist skills, then we're based on the Newcastle University site, and so we have access to experts right across the patch, be there people in the medical school, experts in digital healthcare, or engineers who are experts in aeronautical engineering or whatever, or computer scientists who are working at the cutting edge of new tools and techniques. So we can bring in them into the project and make sure we've got the right set of skills that are needed. Exactly, yes. But what we find is that a lot of companies are nervous about starting to work with researchers, and I can understand that as a researcher myself. Well, that's part of it, but also it's just things like the timescales that researchers work on. So a typical research project will be 3 to 5 years, and there has to be an element of risk to it, otherwise it wouldn't be a research project. Whereas, of course, for a lot of companies, particularly SMEs, their time horizons are 9 months to a year. So there's this complete mismatch. But if we can do a project with them and deliver value to them in those sorts of timescales, then they're more open to thinking about, okay, what else can we do? And let's take a few risks. Let's think of things which might deliver some new products or services in 3 to 5 years. And at that point, then we can start to introduce them to researchers, and they can work with them to look over a longer time scale. So what we do with clients is that we give away the intellectual property to the client. So what we want to do is to have a very quick, agile process. So a client comes to us and is interested. We want to go through the process I mentioned earlier of working out what project we could do to meet a business opportunity. Then we want to get started. We don't want to have 6 months of lawyers sending legal documents backwards and forwards. So what we agreed with the government was that the way we'd work is that we give away all of our intellectual property. So I think it depends what stage they're at in their career. If they're very early, then what they might do is to do a master's course or even a degree in data science. So for example, Newcastle University runs a master's course which takes people with a technical background and in a year teaches them the basics of data science and AI. Other universities will have conversion courses as well, so they'll take people with a wider range of backgrounds and teaches them some of the subject. So that's one approach. The other approach is to work with us. So as I say, a big part of the projects we do is skills transfer. So we're taking people who might be programmers, as I mentioned, the person with the Excel spreadsheet, and through the course of doing a practical project which delivers for that organization, then they will learn from our expert team new tools and techniques, and very specific ones that are exactly relevant to what that company needs for its sort of data and its sort of challenges, its sort of products and services. So we find that we're taking people from these organizations and we're upskilling them to become really key data scientists in their organization quite quickly through the course of a project. We recruit quite regularly data scientists. Usually we're looking for people who've got some experience post-degree, because these people aren't going to be sitting in a cubicle just working away on some theoretical computer science project. What they're going to be doing is spending a lot of their time with people from companies, working with them in order to address their challenges and to transfer skills. So we need people with this combination of skills of the deep technical knowledge in data science and AI, but also the communication skills in order to be able to understand what the company is trying to do and to transfer those skills into the organization through the course of the project. Well, we think this is a real chasm, and we think that most university courses in data science don't attempt to bridge that chasm. So one of the things that we've done for 10 years is we run modules for our data scientists and now more widely for people across the university, which we call data innovation boot camps. And what we do is we teach them this method, the Osterwalder Business Canvas method, in order to work through the different aspects of taking a business problem, unpacking it, and in the end, working out a project which would address that problem. And we do this by getting companies to come to us with high-level challenges. So very different to the sorts of challenges that a typical student will be used to. A typical student doing a course in data science or AI might, for one of their practical work, be told, here's some data, apply deep learning in order to build a model to do this. What we teach them is not that. It is how you go from a company which, for example, we had Northern Stage, a company who came in, and they said, how do we reduce our carbon footprint? And that was the challenge to the students. And of course, the students are quite shocked by that. It's very different to what they've been used to. And they think, well, how on earth do we address that? Where's the data? What method should we use? But if you teach them these methods and we have the company mentor them as they go through the different perspectives on the unpacking the business challenge, then over the course of a week or 2 weeks that we run these boot camps, the students learn these techniques. And what we find is that at the end of it, the company gets back some real insights into what they are doing. But at the same time, the students get these extra skills. And all the time we learn from the students. They email us and say, oh, we went for an interview for this job and we got it. And when we talk to the people recruiting us afterwards, they said, oh, the reason you got it was not because of your data science skills, because we had 10 people who had really excellent data science skills, but you were the only one who understood how you could make a contribution to the company by taking one of our business problems and being able to unpack it and deliver a data science project that would address it.
That's really interesting, because when it comes to data, you could use data in a commercial sense, as in try and help a business sell more or change consumer behavior.
Yes.
But also data could be used in law enforcement, national security to protect and save lives. So that there's a whole spectrum of use of data, which the students may or may not be open to. But like you're saying, if people have that business analysis capability, they can actually apply those skills, whatever that domain is.
That's right. Yes, that's right. And we teach them that actually you need to learn about what the business problem is and something about what the data means in that domain before you can apply your deep learning or advanced statistical method to solve the problem. But you're right. Data science is very versatile. That's one of the reasons why our team isn't split into verticals. So we don't have experts on manufacturing data and experts on engineering data, experts on financial data, and so on. We've just got a team with broad expertise across statistics, visualization, AI, data science, and they're able to apply those techniques to companies across the whole spectrum of different aspects of industry.
Do the students at Newcastle have placement years where they take those skills and try to apply them into industry as well?
All of our students are encouraged to do that, and more of them are doing that. So they're not just doing holiday internships, but they're actually taking whole years out to go into industry, and we do encourage that. And as the National Innovation Centre for Data, we can help point students in roughly the right direction because we've got an ecosystem of hundreds of organisations we work with. In fact, if you go to our website, if you just search for the National Innovation Centre for Data, and we have a case study section, and we have tens of case studies from across the organisations that we work with. But for example, one of them we work with a company called SMD, who build underwater robots which lay fibres, so telecommunications fibres. And we've done quite a few projects with them. They're interested in how they can prioritise the data which comes from these robots, so that they can then present the right data to the people who are controlling them. So that's one level. Another level, we might be working and have worked with a financial organisation. One is the Newcastle Building Society. And this is a very common problem for e-commerce companies and financial companies. What they want to do is predict which customers are going to leave the organization as early as possible before they do so. So what we do is we suck in all of the data about the interactions between the customers and the organization, the e-commerce organization, say, or the bank. And we know from past history which customers have left and which are still there. And so we build predictive models using machine learning, which allows then the organization to predict well in advance which customers are likely to leave with high accuracy. And that means they can then contact them, offer them bonuses or whatever, just find out ways to try and retain them. Because as you know, it's better to retain your customers once you've won them rather than to keep having to have churn and to have to keep winning new ones. So those are two. I could give you another one, which is there's a lot of green energy companies in the northeast of England. One of the things, as you know, Gordon, because you've lived here, is that we have a lot of wind. So we have a lot of wind turbines on the coast or off the coast. And if you have those, you need to store the energy. So we work with battery companies as well as energy generation companies. One of them, a friend of ours called Connected Energy, really innovative local company. What they wanted to do is to use second life electric vehicle batteries for storage. And because there's second life, that means that they're cheaper. They don't have the right characteristics to work in cars anymore, but you can use them for energy storage. But the question is, how long a warranty to give to their customers? If you give the warranty that's too long, then when the battery fails, you have to replace it for free. So you don't make a profit. If you make it too short, nobody's going to buy your battery pack. So the question is where to set the length of the warranty. And so we analyze with them lots of data coming off batteries about battery performance over time, built a predictive model which allows them then to set the warranty at the right level. So those are just three examples. I could keep going for the next few hours with examples from the 100 projects that we've done. Yeah, so the National Innovation Centre for Ageing was set up about the same time as the National Innovation Centre for Data. And they've got an interest in digital healthcare. So we can collaborate with them when they're working with companies who are collecting data from sensors. And in fact, there's a lot of work around the university on novel digital healthcare. I'm involved in a big project which is coming to an end called Mobilise D, which is a European project which collects data from people with Parkinson's disease and multiple sclerosis from a little sensor that they have on the small of their back. And that then measures their gait, so how they walk. And there's lots of interesting characteristics that you can measure if you can extract information. For example, you can tell how active somebody is, so how often they're walking. You can tell about the stride length and how fast they walk. And you can tell things about the asymmetry in their walk, so whether they favor one leg or another. And these have been shown to be very useful for predicting the progression of Parkinson's disease, for example, or predicting people who've had hip transplants and how well they're recovering from it, whether they need to be seen by a doctor or not. So the good thing about this is that we can take that data, we can extract value from it, build predictive models, and benefit older people in the same way we benefit financial organisations. Exactly the same sorts of technique. Well, we work nationally, so if any company wants to contact us, then we're always happy to have an initial chat to see whether or not we could work productively together. So very happy to do that. I think the other thing I'd say is the reason why our Innovation Centre works well and the Innovation Centre above for Ageing works well is because we've got a custom designed building which facilitates innovation, which we're in at the moment, Gordon. So that has workshop rooms, TED-style lecture theatre for events and activities. And this means we get people in from companies to do work with us. We have breakout spaces, we have offices that they can spend time in. But as well as the two centres, we also rent out offices to organisations. So we have lots of companies in here. Just behind you, Gordon, is the office for Red Hat, who are the world's largest open source software company, recently bought by IBM. And so what happens is that people from the innovation centres and from the companies just by going into the kitchen to make a cup of coffee or going to the very nice cafe downstairs. They bump into each other, they start talking, they realize that one of them's got some interest, they have interests in common, and projects come out of that. So actually, having an innovation-focused building has made a real difference to our success. So all of our events are open. Almost all of them are free, and we encourage students to come to them as well. And that can be a way for students to make links to companies and get internships and jobs. So a lot of the events are to do with awareness raising. So we might pick a sector, let's say manufacturing, and have people from manufacturing talk about what they're doing, so that others in the area can say, oh yes, we can see how for this other organisation, data has really allowed them to innovate, and that can inspire them to do something themselves. We have events like that. But every year we run a data innovation showcase where we run not just lectures or where companies come in and talk about the innovation that they do, but our team run masterclasses. So they'll pick something which is very hot at the moment in data science. So you can guess that large language models and Gen AI is something that we're going to talk about in September, which is at the next one that we have, as well as things like object recognition. So how can you take images and extract objects from them? Text, we do a lot of work on text analysis. So how can you take screeds of text and extract interesting information from them? So we run masterclasses on these. And again, this can allow people with some expertise in data science or complete novices to go in and be able to do something with the data that they have in their organization.